Hi, everyone. My name is John Faulkner. I'm your host of the Smarter Systems, Better Care podcast. I'm here today with Austin Mudd. He is the Senior Vice President of Operations at VersaCare Group, where he's leading strategic initiatives to improve service delivery and quality care across their healthcare operations. Thank you for joining us today, Austin.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then just to give our listeners context, tell us a bit about your background.
Yeah, go way back. Pharmacist by training. Spent several years in operations within Walgreens, and most recently, currently it's SVP of Ops, like you mentioned, with First Care Group. So, been exciting opportunity in the home healthcare with the IDD network, and I'm sure we'll explore that more as we go in.
Absolutely. And then, what's the core focus of VersaCare today? How do you serve your clients today?
Yeah, we're multi-brands across 5 different states, all centered around service of care for specifically IDD individuals. And so primarily home health, but we also do have some adult day training or adult like life skills programs as well, but services that really all wrap around helping those individuals. So mostly in the IDD network.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are intellectually disabled individuals. Is that the acronym that you're describing?
Yeah, we're right on the fringe. There's some within the ID that accurately depicts it, and then ABA is kind of a neighboring sector, but ours is specifically IDD. In those, typically anything from ideally in-home residential to therapy, skilled behavioral services that we help out with individuals, all curated to what the individual best needs, and then we serve them as best we can around that need that they have.
Excellent. What's some examples of how you serve these individuals and your business?
Yeah, so we've got differences from physical speech, occupational therapist, so kind of our skilled therapy level. And then we also have everything from in-home respite care for caregivers to actually all the way to family home providers that are uh, uh, essentially guardians and caregivers 24/7 for the individuals that they take care over in their home. Like we call them family home providers. They essentially treat them as family members within their household and provide day-to-day care, which we all believe is the care at a home is best outside of the institutions and which are more expensive, but also lesser quality of care. And so having that served in the home setting, in a family setting, even best is the best care that they can help provide for those. So we also have day training and transportation that helps get them to these services of need and everything else in between.
And it sounds like you're making quite an impact in this area, which is fantastic. It's definitely, individuals that need this kind of help, like keep them in a safe area and make sure that they're supported well. And, when you look at your role specifically to a senior VP, where do you spend the most energy, like kind of driving your growth? Like, what does your day to day look like?
Yeah, for us, is this industry for the most part is fairly antiquated in technology and very manual. We just had one of our brands convert to a EHR system, and so that's been a big, powerful movement into technology. And ideally, is to help improve the processes so we can improve the outcomes for our individuals. And so, taking away a lot of the manual, labor-intensive work that is occurring, and allow us to do better work within the individual. So, spend a lot of time analyzing the processes that we've got and how do we make them better, and also working internally or even with vendor partners to help automate or just improve the processes is best. But certainly some automation in there that's allowing us to connect with our caregivers better, improve compliance, but ultimately scrubbing away a lot of those inefficient processes to allow us to do better care, better outcomes for each of the individuals. So that's my main priority, is seeing what we're currently doing. How do we improve and make it even just a little bit better? Not that it's bad, but we call it excellence. And how do we be excellent in that? And not that it's bad, but just continuously improving.
Yeah. What's some workflow examples of those manual process in the home care space as you're taking care of, these types of individuals? What do you run into that's like maybe feels clunky or kind of out of place when you're working?
Yeah, one of the cool ones is the one that we have with our family home providers in Kentucky. Is they were paper driven, and we've converted to an EHR system, and that EHR system tracks all of the multitude of contacts and notes and impacts that they're making with the individual. One of the requirements is they have a monthly summary created, and previously the caregiver would have to write or type out, but nonetheless, they'd have to construct this. And based off of all those individual daily activities that they have, the system is helping curate and automate that monthly summary for them. And so it's taken away this compliance but needed aspect to ensure outcomes are driven, but it's doing that with the multiple touch points that they do on a daily, weekly basis, and it's constructing that story for them. So that's one less hour of work that they have to do, and that's one more hour that they can spend with the individual to improve outcomes. And so there's that. There's notifications to in Florida, we've got a new notification going out that will be help improve compliance for the requirements for EVV, so electronic visit verification. And this allows us to know when their schedule's coming up to let them know that. And then we have curated videos personalized to the brand that lets them know how to properly, if there is a problem, here's how to solve it. But then notifying them if they've missed a punch. Hey, don't forget to check in or check out. So when they're getting notified, but they're also ensuring that they're paid, but also that their quality of service is being taken care of, and so that it flows through. So that's barely scratching the surface of all the process that we've listed out that we really want to tackle over the next next few years, because there's a list of them that can really be impactful from it, of all the way to RCM to everything else in between to help improve those processes.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities for growth, which is always a good thing, right? So,
That's right.
absolutely. Yeah. What's the one shift in your industry that most leaders are not paying enough attention?
Yeah, from what we've looked at and what we're seeing is, and AI gets a big term right now, and I don't know if we're, that it gets all the bells and whistles that we see, but ours is just seeing how far we can thrust that automation forward. And talking to a lot of different vendors, a lot of others in the industry, is how far we can actually push that. And again, it's not out of a reduction of force. Our ability is to see how many more people we can serve more efficiently, and to drive that outcomes. But I would say a lot when they think about automation, it's very granular, it's very small in nature and in one-offs, and we're thinking of the full process that we can really. And the scare of that is also people think that that equates to cuts. That's our intention, and then we've been very transparent about that, but also decreases personalization. And our guiding principle is to help drive up personalization, is the fact that we're able to reach out more, we're able to connect more, we're able to understand better because of some of these automation processes that we're excited and really looking forward to. I think the industry for has some built in, but I think we're only scratching the surface at helping push the thought of what is even possible out there. Because the industry set up for more and more care going to the home over the next 10 years. The watch out is also the number of caregivers that we'll need for that. And so we've got to be able to reduce the work burden for them so that they can take care of more or serve more, and have better outcomes for it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're kind of looking at the whole picture, not just like a one off solution, but it's something that could be like a complete solution that works for everyone. And part of that's probably like training as well. I can get envision so people understand not only something's automated, but what does that mean for you and your job? And like, how is that going to help you? Right. Part
Yeah,
of that as well.
we have some like recruiters or teams that assist caregivers, and a lot of them have only ever talked to them over the phone, but the ability to send a text with a video about them that has, hey, that increases personalization. That's where we're really thinking of how to drive those connections that deepens the connection they have with caregivers, but also then connecting with them more often, allows them to understand where do you need assistance and service so that we can help best serve them, who's ultimately the direct care worker with the individuals.
Absolutely. What are changes that you've made?
Yeah, that stuff. There's a lot of state aggregators that are kind of mandated platforms or systems that you got to use, and so it's tough to have a single platform. And so we've certainly explored that aspect and looking for that eventuality. And so that's been a tough aspect. Ours is getting everyone up to speed of today's technology. As if you were previously paper, bringing into an EHR system, and then scoping out the next several years is how do we do it better? How do we do it more efficiently, and planning for that? But part of that is also, um, the need of hiring caregivers. That's one of the watchouts as we grow into the next, is how do we consistently take care of those caregivers and then grow that network for more, certainly as we grow.
Yeah, absolutely. You're growing your caregiver network, so then you can help more people is the ultimate goal.
That's right.
Is what you're
Yeah.
envisioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Before.
oh, sorry, I was gonna say, so when you look at like operations day to day, like where do things feel like clunky or slower than you like as you're trying to like grow your, you know, caregiver network?
There's a lot of required trainings. There's trainings that are in person. There's some that can be online. And for ours is we've done improvements in a couple of states like Michigan and helped improve that process. That is, how do we work through that onboarding process to make it more seamless and actually connect the time. We call it a cycle time, but it's the time from the referral to the time that we can match with a caregiver and get that care started. Because during that whole time period is a family or an individual in need that's waiting for care, and so it's how do we close that gap? And so there's been, times that cycle time can be higher, and how do we close that? Because you've got a caregiver that wants to work, matching them, getting through that training and onboarding to get set up as soon as possible. And so some of that's helping curate that training and formulate, coming into an office, working stepwise through it there in person has helping with communication. There are some county or state required ones that are done online, and how do we help track that more efficiently so that we can assist them? Hey, the next class, offer more classes. We're also looking in other states that it's only available in English, and the state doesn't have the capacity to translate it. But some of our caregivers and the family and the individual speak multiple language, Spanish. We're looking to take that on of working with the states to get that training material, and even if it's just our people or an offering to the state as a whole, like how do we help translate that so that there's a whole nother opportunity of caregivers that primarily Spanish, and that we can have that offering multi-language so they can get to the training a lot easier and a lot faster as well. So a couple different avenues.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So opportunities, like you said, bilingual caregivers, which is obviously help more patients that I've been acknowledging for in the past or speaking other languages, which is fantastic. And then like, how does it work in the home space too, as far as like, you're visiting the patient, how many follow ups do you have with those patients? Is it determined by the caregiver? Like, how does that work in the home care space?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. It's certainly patient centered, so it's based on the needs of the individual themselves of what their needs are. Some of it can be one touch point a week. Some of it they're individuals actually living and staying at the house in the residence, and so it's a more of a consummate care. So it's the full spectrum of very individualistic need. Some of it ties into cross coordination with a skilled therapist, and some of it's also a coordinating with transportation to help get them to a day training program that offers potential employment preparation services as well, and so it helps them. We just recently had an individual at one of our programs became safe certified, which is the ability for to cook at a restaurant, and so there's really proud moments that culminate with having to coordinate transportation to get them to the service, and then a several month, or it could be longer or shorter depending on the individual, process to help train and guide them to help get them to what they want to be. They want to be an active participant in society and impactful in that, and it's help them match that. So it's a full chasm, and so it's to say it's a cookie cutter would be a far stretch. It's very individualized and patient centered to what they need. So analyzing that as the need comes in, and then matching that with certainly the caregiver and the other services that best serves them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like, what's working really well right now that you never would want to lose in vet versus care, like in your operations?
Yeah, I think our culture, we are mission centric. Our main mission is helping people succeed. That innately people think of the individuals that we serve, and I think for us, we talk all the time about the inverted pyramid, that we're here to help serve those, and so those that are serving the individuals, we have to help them succeed as well. And so it's looking at everyone that works with us for VersaCare, and certainly the caregivers as well. But ultimately, it is also the individual. But I'd say our culture is very, very mission centric, and people are excited to wake up every morning, understand the impact that they're helping make for the individuals, and anytime we have meetings and presentations, it starts off with internally with those stories of those individuals that we hear and bring to the forefront of the impact that our caregivers and our team help those caregivers ultimately get to. And so, yeah, every day is different at First Care, but for our team is very impactful, and making sure up in the forefront of our days is the impact that we're making. And so hearing those stories is always amazing, and certainly resonates strong for our team and the culture of why we do what we do.
Right. And then the opposite end of the spectrum, like what's been harder than expected despite all the effort that you've put into it? You just can't move the needle.
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier some of the states, I know that well intentioned, and we certainly love partner with them and want to partner with them to help serve more. But sometimes for it is the systems and the structures. There's a very high uh, compliance aspect to it, and I think it makes sense. But it's also how do we streamline that, make it easier. And, a lot of times it's one step forward, one step back of how do you help incrementally move things forward in that. But yeah, it's also one off. It's this state, this county that are so unique and different. And so, ideally, magic wand, I wish we could do it broad paint strokes of making these improvements across multiple states, across multiple counties within a state. And sometimes that's you've got to get separate depending on the state. You got to get separate credentialing in a different county and separate credentialing in a region, and it makes it harder to serve. Where we're certainly in the belief of making it easier to serve and provide positive outcomes for the individuals. And so that's bad. Not that they're doing anything wrong. It's just it's very systematic. It's very
Yeah,
difficult to make
nuanced.
bigger splashes that we would really like to help more within the states that we're already in.
Yeah, and yeah, there's just so many nuances, like you said. You can go by state to county to probably locality. It just varies so differently. Even just township to township nearby can be very different. And then looking at the bigger picture too, like as far as like if you solved all these bottlenecks, no longer issues in a perfect world, what would success look like in 6 to 12 months?
Good question. Yeah, to me, there's no matter whether it's us or others, there's historically a wait list, and to me, it's the ability to serve these individuals better but faster. That's not hasty, but it's getting to these that are they're on a wait list. It's the ability to have more therapists, so there is no wait list, and that the ability to have more caregivers so that we can match faster, so we can get more through the training, and so we can help more individuals. To me, that's the never ending aspiration that we're seeking is to help more and get them through those processes. But there's some of those that we're actively working through every day.
And thank you for joining us on the podcast today. It's been a great discussion as well. Where can people find you after the podcast if they want to connect?
Yeah, absolutely. So certainly via LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn, but also open to email as well. So amud@versacaregroup.com, or certainly go to our website, versacaregroup.com as well. There, and always open to explore. Certainly thought providers within the group, just exploring thoughts and way we could all help serve individuals better. Always open to that dialogue, and never see it as competition. It's how do we help each other help the individual. And so I'm always open to those types of dialogues, and certainly those that can help us serve the individuals is always welcome as well.
The ultimate goal is helping more patients, more people, and expanding that caregiver network to really provide the best experience for your patients.
Yeah, that's our mission, helping people succeed. So certainly the individuals we serve, all those that work with along with us at our vendors with us at VersaCare as well, helping them succeed as well.
Yeah, well, this has been a great discussion, and thank you for your time, Austin.
Appreciate it, John. Take care.
Thank you.